welcome to the first edition of our special report, Changing India. This show is an effort to explore the various issues within our communities in order to understand the world that we live in better. The issue that we'd like to bring into focus today is urban development. So in the next 30 minutes, we will try to identify the many issues within our cities, challenges that lie ahead, and attempts being made at combating these challenges. So the first story of the day is from the heart of the national capital, Delhi. Iconic locations like Connaught Place are the pillars of Delhi's rich cultural heritage. But recent instances of rooftop collapse have raised questions on the structural safety of these legendary locations. WION's Priyanka Verma brings us this story.
Connaught Place, one of the country's biggest commercial, financial and cultural centres, is a showpiece for Lutyens Delhi. But the recent incidents of roof collapse have raised serious safety concerns and have resulted in losses for local shop owners.
किसी ने इसकी वॉल हिलाई है जिसकी वजह से ये बिल्डिंग नीचे आई है वॉल छत इसकी.
Someone has shook its walls. That's why the building has collapsed. Even after 2 floors have collapsed, it did not damage my shop. Definitely, my business is at a loss, but there was no physical loss. Our shops were shut for 8 days, so there was a financial loss. Customers are under a misconception that this is a risky place. One should not come here.
Constructed in 1933, Connaught Place was named after Duke of Connaught to honour him on his visit to New Delhi. Most of the Delhi's landscape was designed by Edwin Lutyens and Herbert Baker.
When Connaught Place was built in 1935, they had used the leftover construction material from the construction site of Rashtrapati Bhavan.
The old structures at the C block were recently renovated in 2013. After missing a series of deadlines and escalation of cost from 76 crores to 671 crore. The CP redevelopment was kicked off in 2007 as a pilot project with the facade restoration of C block, but the recent incidents have left a gaping hole in the facade of buildings.
We are not allowed to touch the buildings.
We are not allowed to touch the buildings from the outside. Whatever work has to be done is to be done by NDMC. We can only make small changes in the interior.
If you want to build anything and go ask for permission, you don't get a permission. Means you can say 6 to 8 months it takes when a president of an association and the secretary, they are coordinating with the chairman of NDMC. Then you get the normal shopkeeper or a person who's using a terrace. He has to repair with times. In rainy season, it gets leaked. We have to repair. Outside, we are absolutely with NDMC and Heritage Committee. What they want, we want symmetrical. With time changing, we need permissions to change.
Shopkeepers have continued the commercial activity, but they do raise a few red flags for the authorities.
First of all, I can say CP is very safe. There are very few buildings which are not being used from years and they are closed. For waterlogging, the roof might be not in a good condition. And what we found, these 2 collapse here, that was a total different thing, I can say.
Connaught Place is a commercial centre. Constant growth, development and other changes are bound to happen. But we need to make sure that we do not overburden the topmost floors of Connaught Place. If we are able to do so, it can survive for a longer period of time.
In Connaught Place, one can see a perfect blend of British architecture with modern lifestyle. But the recent upsurge of unauthorized constructions and illegal developments around the area has left questions over insufficient and inappropriate urban planning. This is Priyanka Verma in New Delhi, WION.
The New Delhi Municipal Corporation, or the NDMC, suspended 4 engineers over the incident. The senior officials stated that the engineers were responsible for maintaining the structural safety. Well, it was yet another case of classic blame game without any real solution in sight. Something similar happened in Bengaluru recently. The city of lakes, once which was known of having 1,000 water bodies, has only 17 lakes left. The biggest and the most polluted lakes of them all, the Bellanduru Lake, recently caught fire because of the toxic chemicals in it, and the fumes left the residents angry and stunned. Take a look at this report. Bengaluru was once known to be a cozy, self-sufficient city with numerous lakes and man-made tanks to meet its daily requirement. But with erratic growth of the city and the population explosion, most of these water bodies have sadly died. A handful of lakes that are left behind are heavily polluted and struggling for existence. Velanduru Lake, the largest lake in the city, is choked due to indiscriminate dumping of sewage and other industrial pollutants. The water body that was once the primary source of water for the nearby residents is frothing, pungent and also flammable.
Last like 20 years, and it got fired yesterday. At last of that ends, and like mixing of chemicals of these companies like HL, NL and other companies and industries, and now it's getting like mixed in water and it's forming of chemical, and it is mixed with like fire, and it's injurious to humans also.
While the local residents have made multiple appeals to the government to clean up the lake, the state administration has come up with only stopgap solutions. A sprinkler had been installed temporarily to sprinkle water on the froth so that it doesn't affect commuters. What the city water board has achieved as a result is just wastage of thousands of litres of clean water in an attempt to reduce froth and mask the problem. The government had also promised to shut industries in the vicinity that had been pumping untreated toxic waste into the lake, but such statements have been nothing more than mere lip service. Meanwhile, the residents who have been fighting this battle against the administration are facing multiple health problems due to the extreme pollution and stench that fills the air. While the city's biggest lake is being mercilessly choked, the government has done little to ensure its rejuvenation. Despite many Bengalurians coming up with indigenous solutions to the crisis, the administration has done precious little. Bengaluru's Velanduru Lake going up in flames is a classic example of how our cities are choking because of the industrial and population explosion. Open spaces are shrinking, putting the common man at risk. Another such example is that of restaurants in Delhi's posh locations. If official reports are anything to go by, then many of the restaurants in Horse Cars and Connaught Place are under the scanner for violating basic fire safety norms. WION's Shubhangi Daga brings us this report.
The Delhi High Court last year indicted eateries in Delhi's popular Khan Market for flouting fire safety norms. But little has changed in the national capital. Commercial activity has steadily shot up in Delhi, but the laws have failed to keep up with the changing times. Only 2 of the 35 restaurants in Delhi's posh Khan Market have fire clearances to operate. Similarly, only 3 restaurants in Horse Cars have clearance certificates. Due to safety concerns, rooftop dining has been banned in Connaught Place.
The cases are referred to us by MCD, NDMC and the Delhi Police. They are the licensing authorities. We then carry out the necessary inspections and instruct the owners to make fire safety arrangements. About the restaurants, less than 50% places in Connaught Place have an NOC. Same is the case of Khan Market. In Horse Cars Village, only 3 places have NOC, and in Khan Market, only 2.
A.K. Jain, an architect, feels that the steep rise in commercial activity is putting pressure on old and weak structures.
But with the passage of time, all these first floor have got converted into offices or commercial activities. So when you convert residences into commercial activity, maybe restaurant, maybe a shop or maybe an office, its load on the structure multiplies maybe by 10 times or 5 times because of the heavy machine, heavy furniture, generator sets. Sometimes lifts have also been installed by some office, and also there is use of LPG and fire-prone activities like storage of paper, oil, etc. is taking place. There is a need for getting the fire safety certificate for each and every shop.
A close look at the laws throws up several loopholes which restaurant owners exploit. This includes the lack of fire safety requirement. A number of locals, expats and tourists visit hotspots like the Horse Cars Market every day. The high number of violations has irked the Delhi police, leading to a demand for changes in the fire service rules. With Shubhangi Daga, Zara Khan for WION.
Well, in this edition, we're attempting to focus on many issues that plague the urban centers of the country and innovations that are attempting to infuse a new lease of life into our cities. While the steady growth in population has put a lot of stress on infrastructural development, especially urban transport, governments both at the state and central level have attempted to cater to the rising demand for urban transport. But overflowing buses and metros have left the citizens wanting for more. So serial entrepreneur Elon Musk claims that he has an innovative idea. Hyperloop One, the company that is working on Musk's idea, claims that they can not only better last-mile connectivity but also connect our metros at supersonic speeds. Here's a report.
3, 2, 1, start.
It's one of the world's most ambitious projects, pitched to change the way we commute. And the company building this new form of transportation is looking keenly at India to turn this dream into reality. Hyperloop One executives were recently in the country to present their company's vision for transportation in India. They are building the Hyperloop, a super-speedy transport system that promises to slash travel times between India's biggest metros to minutes.
Country first, enter our global challenge.
Hyperloop One has proposed 5 routes: Mumbai Port to Old Delhi, Gateway of India to Marina Beach in Chennai, Bengaluru to Thiruvananthapuram, Chennai Port to Bangalore International Tech Park, and the longest one connecting South Mumbai to Kolkata Port. Present at Hyperloop One's India pitch were the Minister of Railways Suresh Prabhu and the CEO of Niti Aayog Amitabh Kant.
Not just speed of implementation.
Prabhu said the Indian government is closely watching all bold moves.
And we'll be very happy, as I said. We'll watch it very interestingly. As I said, in India, we have to follow a very rigorous process before selecting a partner. We have to have a process which has to be extremely transparent, extremely participating, and something which will really inspire the confidence of anybody who feels that what we are doing is right.
While the future may hold out the promise of some great innovations to make life easier and ensure faster transport to some of India's biggest metros, for the present, the gridlocked traffic of urban India will probably continue. A recent survey said 60 crore working hours are lost in Bengaluru due to traffic jams. A similar survey said that Mumbai and Kolkata are among the world's worst when it came to traffic conditions. India's national capital, Delhi, is losing rupees 60,000 crore a year due to traffic congestion. Hyperloop One says the solutions they are developing has the potential to offer door-to-door travel. But Musk's idea of the Hyperloop is yet to face the litmus test of affordability. The Indian government may be intrigued by the Hyperloop One's pitch, but travelling by the Hyperloop may not happen anytime soon. Bureau Report, WION.
Well, Hyperloop sounds like a great idea. Hyperloop One, though, the company that is developing Hyperloop for commercial use, is expected to bring the technology into public use only by 2021. Will it be a success? Well, only time will tell. While on one hand we are accelerating towards the future, on the other hand health and sanitation issues continue to plague our urban centres. Despite efforts by successive governments over the years, open defecation is a reality in our cities. But a group of students from Delhi's Sultanpuri area are trying to change that reality. WION's Kamran Ahmed brings us this report.
This complex in Delhi's Sultanpuri area is a testament to how awareness and an innovative approach can change age-old practices. Over the past year, a group of students has been working with the local community here to make public toilets usable and in the process prevent open defecation.
Project Rahat has been a brainchild of our advisory, our third years. And before Project Rahat even began working and was in place, we had a project called Sanitation Solutions. So under Sanitation Solutions, we actually spread awareness about how to use sanitary napkins. We went in the community, we prepared surveys, and we tried to assess the needs of the people in general. So when we talked to them, we got to know that there isn't any provision available for safe sanitation, and even if there was, they were defunct.
As part of Project Rahat, the students first take charge of government-built toilet complexes, then they focus on improving management, making aesthetic modifications, and creating awareness about the importance of healthy sanitary practices.
So what we did here, for example, in Sultanpuri, was we used a door-to-door approach. We came here, we spoke to the people who live here, we went in their houses, we had chai with them, we sat with them. We don't use a parent-teacher approach, a teacher-student approach where this is concerned. We sit with them as equals and we talk to them. And you used to call them with us, we used to share food with them. And the thing is, like, even with the children, we have gamification camps. As you saw, we include them and we talk to them. If they want to talk, tell us their stories. If they want to tell us their jokes, if they want to sing for us, we encourage them to do so, because that way we build like a bond of friendship, right? And you know, if they're friends with us, they're friends with Project Rahat. And this complex, it now belongs to the community. They take care of it.
Involving the people and especially children in the process, Project Rahat has been able to make this complex in Sultanpuri a sustainable feature.
I tell people, especially children, about healthy sanitary practices. Now children frequent this place. Earlier, they used to defecate in the open. Even women used to go out. At present, all of them come here to use the toilet. This place is open throughout the day.
The Enactus team of Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies is behind the success of Project Rahat, which is now moving to work in other areas of the city. In New Delhi, with Abhinav Raina, Kamran Ahmed, WION.
More than half of India's rural population defecates in the open. But efforts being put in by the Enactus team goes on to show how innovative ideas are being used at the grassroots level to bring about a change. Well, Delhi's street artists are also attempting to do the same. We have seen how street art has transformed many urban spaces across the country. And now street artists from Delhi as well as across the world are collaborating to bring about a change and revamp some of our heritage buildings. WION's Shubhankar Basu brings us this report.
Street art on old walls like these along Delhi's Lodi Road are transforming public places in major cities of India.
So the world is their studio, and the cities are the studios, and not just like a one locked space where nobody gets to see it, while you're creating something which is out there in public space. In a city, when there is an art exhibition or something, if you go to the exhibition, you will find 80% of the crowd is kind of familiar. And they are the same people who's been going and visiting these shows and museums and galleries and everywhere. But common people's interaction with art is not happening, and somewhere common people have kind of also, like in their head, they're thinking art is something which they don't understand. And so that's a kind of like a clear disconnect, but an initiative like this definitely brings that gap closer.
Artists from around the world are gathering in major Indian metropolis, collaborating with local talent to break new ground, and in the process, generating new business opportunities.
When you talk about street art, the art that you go ahead and make on a maybe 20, 30, 50 feet or 150 feet long, tall, wide buildings, it's a lot of energy, effort, an artist giving a part of himself to that particular building or structure. You have to give an artist an expression of freedom and thought mind whatever is possible, and that freedom has to be there in all possible way.
Efforts of artists like Hanif have created a platform for younger artists to showcase their talent on a global stage.
The best part of our work is we think alike. What goes in my mind, Nikunj can easily predict. And this bonding helps us together to come up with a fine piece of art every time.
The way we wanted.
We feel the ambience and try to live the feel of our subject. A piece of art then comes up automatically.
Graffiti and street art on these walls have become a tool to preserve crumbling pieces of heritage. As time goes by, these murals will not only be a peek into the past, but will give its admirers a window into the future. In New Delhi, Shubhankar Basu, WION.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Changing India. Do check out our website wionnews.com for these stories and much more. Also follow us on various social media platforms. As always, news and updates will continue on WION. Stay tuned.